They laughed behind her back when she got the job at the mall. "Just a salesgirl," they said. "That's not a real career." But what they didn't know was that behind her quiet smile and name tag was someone who saw more than just racks. Of clothes and folding tables, she saw opportunity. While her friends chased flashy jobs and quick success, she showed up day after day, learning the business from the ground up, taking mental notes on everything from customer service to store management. At 19, Maya had no fancy degree, no connections, and no clear roadmap. What she had was grit. She stayed late without being asked. She volunteered for weekend shifts. She watched how the franchise owner ran things, and slowly she began to understand the bigger picture. But the whispers never stopped. People she once called friends rolled their eyes when she talked about her work. Even some of her own family questioned her choices. Still, Maya kept going. She saved every paycheck, lived below her means, and kept learning. And then, one day, the franchise went up for sale. Everyone thought it was too big of a risk. Everyone. Except Maya. With everything she had, a bit of help from someone unexpected, she took the leap. Now those same people who laughed walked past her store with wide eyes. Some even work for her. But what happened between that mall job and her becoming the owner is a story full of twists, setbacks, and one powerful decision that changed everything. So, what exactly did Maya do that turned her minimum wage job into a six-figure business? And who tried to stop her before she made it? Stay with me, because this is where the story really begins. Maya's journey didn't start with a dream of owning a business. It started with needing a job. Her family had been struggling for a while. Her mom worked double shifts as a nurse, and her dad had been laid off for months. When Maya finished high school, college wasn't even on the table. She applied to every store in the mall, hoping for something steady. One small clothing boutique finally called her back, offering minimum wage and part-time hours. It wasn't glamorous, but she took it with no complaints. From day one, she was different. While others just clocked in and out, Maya paid attention. She asked questions. Why do we put these items near the front? How do you track inventory? What happens during a monthly sales review? Her manager, Lisa, noticed. Lisa had been with the franchise for years, but never had anyone show this much curiosity. Still, even Lisa thought Maya was just being eager nothing. More? Outside of work, Maya's life wasn't easy. Her friends were heading off to college, posting pictures from dorm rooms and parties. She stayed behind, riding the bus to her shift, sometimes eating just one meal a day to save money. People whispered, "She's still folding clothes at the mall." Others outright told her she was wasting her time. That hurt. But instead of breaking her, it pushed her harder. What no one knew was that the boutique's owner was thinking of selling. The business had been slowing down, and she was quietly looking for a buyer. Maya overheard a phone call one night after close, and that's when everything started to change. Who else knew? And what would Maya do with that information, especially when she had no money? And someone else was already making an offer. That overheard phone call stayed in Maya's mind for days. The owner, Mrs. Patel, was clearly stressed. Rent was going up, sales were dipping, and corporate wasn't offering much support. Maya could tell the business meant something to her. This wasn't just a shop. It was her life's work. But the buyer on the phone, from the little Maya heard, he sounded pushy. All about numbers, not people. Something about it didn't sit right. Maya wanted to speak up, to ask Mrs. Patel what was happening. But who was she to ask? Just a part-time employee with no savings. No experience, no real say. Still, the thought of that man taking over made her stomach turn. She'd seen how easily places changed under new owners' hours cut. Good workers let go. Everything turned into a cold bottom line. That wasn't. What this store deserved? Around the same time, Maya started noticing changes at work. Lisa, her manager, had been unusually quiet. She stopped training staff like before and didn't answer questions the way she used to. Maya tried to ask her what was wrong, but Lisa only said, "It's out of my hands now." That's when Maya realized others knew about the sale too, but no one was talking at home. Maya began doing something she never thought she would, researching how to buy a business. Late at night, after her shifts, she'd watch YouTube videos on franchising, read blogs on small business ownership, and even try to figure out how much money she'd need just to start a conversation. The numbers were terrifying. Then came the real shock. A customer someone Maya had helped many times before slipped her a business card and said, "You've got potential. If you ever want to start something of your own, call me." But why now? And what did he really want? Maya held on to that business card for days, unsure if she should even consider calling. What if it was just empty talk? What if he wanted something in return she couldn't give? Still, something about the way he looked at her, like he saw more than just a retail worker, kept playing in her head. His name was Daniel, a local investor who'd been shopping at the store for years. He wasn't flashy, just observant. Maya remembered he once complimented her for how she handled a difficult customer. Maybe he meant what he said. Meanwhile, the pressure at work kept growing. Sales were flat. Staff started leaving. Lisa finally confessed she was being pushed out quietly, with no promise of staying under the new ownership. Maya felt it. This place was slipping away. The store that had been her second home was about to be turned into something unrecognizable. Rumors were swirling that the other buyer wanted to replace half the staff, cut product lines, and bring in cheaper inventory. From overseas, Maya couldn't sleep. The idea of letting someone else take over the store felt wrong. But what could she do? She had barely any money, no business background, and the clock was ticking. Then, one night, Mrs. Patel called her into the office. It was quiet, the mall nearly empty. She looked tired, but her eyes were serious. "I know you've heard things," she said, "so I'm asking. If you had the chance, would you take over?" Maya's heart pounded. Was this really happening? All the doubt, all the fear came rushing in. And just when she thought it couldn't get more complicated, Daniel showed up at the store the next day with a proposal that could change everything. But was it help or a trap she couldn't see coming? Daniel's proposal sounded perfect, most too perfect. He offered to back Maya financially, help her secure the franchise rights, and even mentor her through the process. "You've got the instincts," he said, smiling. "You just need someone to believe in you." On the surface, it felt like the answer to everything, but something didn't sit right. His offer came with a condition. She'd have to sign over partial ownership to him, nearly half. That meant decisions wouldn't be hers alone. Maya didn't say yes, not yet. Later that night, she dug deeper into Daniel's past. What she found shook her. He'd invested in 2 other small businesses in the area. Both started strong, then collapsed within a year. The owners disappeared from social media, and no one knew what happened to them. There were whispers, nothing confirmed, but the stories had a pattern. Fast success, then sudden silence. As she pieced it all together, another blow hit. Maya overheard a heated call between Mrs. Patel and someone from corporate. The franchise had received multiple offers, then the highest wasn't Daniel's. It was from a large chain planning to buy out the location and turn it into something entirely new. If Maya didn't act fast, the deal would be sealed in days. The store wouldn't just change, would be gone. To make matters worse, Lisa quit the next morning. She left a note for Maya. Asterisk, "They don't care about people like us. If you fight for this place, do it your way." Asterisk, Maya was out of time, out of allies, and facing a choice that could define her future: trust Daniel and risk losing control, or find another way on her own. But how could she win a battle against big money, secrets, and a clock that was nearly out of time? With the pressure closing in, Maya made a decision: no more waiting. She returned Daniel's call and told him thank you, but she was going to figure this out on her own. He didn't try to convince her otherwise. In fact, he simply said, "You're brave. Let's see if it works out." The way he said it felt more like a challenge than support. Maya had just 48 hours before the franchise would accept the highest bidder. That night, she stayed up creating a pitch, her vision for the store. A new layout, community events, better online presence, and a plan to boost local sales. She took every bit of knowledge she'd gathered over the past 2 years and turned it into a proposal. She also reached out to a small local bank she'd researched online, one that had a program for young entrepreneurs. By morning, she was sitting across from a loan officer, pitch in hand, heart pounding. What happened next felt unreal. The bank agreed to give her a small business loan, not enough to match the highest offer, but enough to make a serious move. Maya rushed back to Mrs. Patel and presented it all. "You won't get the most money from me," she said, "but you'll keep your legacy alive." Mrs. Patel looked at her for a long moment, then said, "You remind me of myself when I started." Signed the papers that afternoon. But just when it felt like a happy ending, the twist came. A letter arrived from corporate. They'd approved the transfer, but only under one condition. Maya would have to rebrand the store completely within 6 months or lose the license. No logo, no name, no existing support. Now Maya owned the store, but could she rebuild it from scratch?